Hello, I did mine on women and HIV and AIDS in prison and jails. Women prisoners are a minority of the United States prison population, but they are very highly affected by HIV and AIDS. Incarcerated women are 36 times as likely as non-incarcerated women to be living with HIV and AIDS. The HIV prevalence in women prisons almost always higher than in men prisons. In the graph, it shows how high the women HIV rate is in prisons than in men. In contrast between incarcerated women and incarcerated men, it is also stark. At the end of each year of 2000, women state prisoners were more than 60% more likely to be incarcerated, men to be HIV positive. Because there are so many more men in prisons than women, programs for prisoners and prisons themselves are usually designed with adult men in mind. HIV pre-test and post-test counseling resources, literacy, language, and basic skills assessments are a positive way for everyone to come together and learn and be more educated about HIV and AIDS. It also having a peer support buddy program in the correctional facility helps women become together and support one another, because it is hard, and especially not having your family there to support you, having somebody that has the same disease and issues as you do helps you in the long run. Mother to child transmission of HIV is through birth, is usually when it happens. You can also get it through breastfeeding, which most women who are incarcerated do not have the knowledge and education and know that. To provide effective HIV and AIDS services to incarcerated women, providers need to take the time to understand the differences between men's and women's experiences of HIV and AIDS in the criminal justice system. The most effective programs for women are often those that are designed from the ground up. HIV inmates make up at least 1.7% of the incarcerated population and face specific challenges and discrimination within the prison's industrial complex, including the infection rate of 5 to 10 times that of unincarcerated people. But some groups do exist within prisons to help prevent the spread of HIV and offer support to those who are HIV positive, such as ACE. It's a counseling and education program in New York. Staying safe inside HIV and hepatitis C healthcare in prisons. As you know, they're just saying that that's a safe place. The common wisdom about HIV in prisons is that prisons are a breeding ground for HIV because prisoners are 8 to 10 times as likely as non-prisoners to have HIV. It is often assumed that most HIV positive prisoners become infected while they are incarcerated. In fact, the evidence suggests that a different perspective on HIV and AIDS prisoner statistics. A vast majority of HIV positive prisoners acquire their infection in the community before becoming incarcerated. This fact should not downplay the risk of HIV infection behind bars. Unprotected sex, rape, drugs, use, and tattooing are HIV risk behaviors that are illegal behind bars, but it is accepted that at least some of these take place in most correctional facilities. In prison, HIV prevention programs are important for addressing these risks. Prisoners who are not HIV positive, their highest risk for HIV infections may be once they are back on the streets. In general, incarcerated women are even at a higher risk for HIV than incarcerated men. Learning about the risk factors and educating others is one way to lessen these risks. For a variety of social and economic reasons, HIV positive women prisoners may have little access to HIV services in the community. Their time in prison or jail may present an important opportunity to learn about their HIV infections, cope with their diagnosis, understand their medical options, and develop the skills to avoid passing on the virus to anyone else. The U.S. drug policy has become a war on women, and a staggering 58% of women inmates were victims of violence before being incarcerated. Women in prisons face challenges their male counterparts do not, but often their experiences is invisible. From these statistics, we learn that 60 to 67% of female prisoners are black or Hispanic in the U.S., while only 24% of the total U.S. population is black or Hispanic. Women are 33% more likely to be incarcerated on drug charges than men. 64% of women enter prisons without having graduated high school, and women in prisons are 12 times more likely to be HIV positive. Here's a chart that shows between women in prisons is how much higher it is in men prisons. It gives you the HIV total, and then it gives you the women rate and the men rate. Science, not prejudice, and discrimination against prisoners with HIV. Not only are people who have HIV discriminated against, but women prisoners are not only the undermined population because men are, I guess, above them, you would say. They are discriminated against because of the color of their skin or poverty, etc. The reason that they're there. Thank you for listening. Those are just my references. I hope you have a wonderful day.